how do you get rid of a people's? You take their food supply away, right? So we obviously didn't go away because we're still here to tell these stories. So with these seeds, the first sister to come along, her name was Corn Girl. And Corn Girl, she was really, really tall and really, really skinny, and she had this long golden blonde hair that blew in the wind. And she would stand up really straight, but the sun was so hot that it would burn her feet. So her arms would dangle like that, trying to cover her feet. And she was alone because she was just the first sister to come along. And the second sister to come along, her name was Bean Girl. And Bean Girl, she had on a really pale green dress, whereas Corn Girl, she had on a pale yellow dress. And with Bean Girl was born extremely top heavy. She had a lot of fruit. And when she would grow and grow, and she would just travel along the ground because she couldn't hold herself up. She was really top heavy. And she would get dirty and, just be really uncomfortable, and she'd be wet and dirty all the time and just crawl along. So then the third sister to come along, her name was Squash Girl. And Squash Girl, she had on an orange dress. And Squash Girl, she was really short and really fat. And she was really happy because she just existed and got, bigger and bigger and became this beautiful orange squash. Then it was one day when it was Bean Girl. And Bean Girl said, "Hey, Corn Girl, older sister," she says, "I have an idea." She says, "If I gave you some of my fruit, you could get energy and you could hold me up, and I could entwine on you, and then my fruit wouldn't be wet and dirty all the time, and it could nourish you, and we could hang out together. What do you think?" And Corn Girl said, "Oh yeah, let's do that, right?" And then so it was little Squash Girl, the little sister over there, saying, "Hey, wait for me." She says, "I got an idea." She says, "If Bean Girl gave me some fruit and I ate that fruit, I could get a lot of energy and I could roll myself onto Corn Girl's feet, and then the sun wouldn't burn her feet anymore. And I would create that ground cover, that would protect the ground, and that we could all grow together and learn to be companion plants." It's what we know as the three sisters.
Food, now looking at it, is more than just something that you ingest, but so much more because it has like a history and has so much stories. Like Three Sisters, it's not just corn, squash, and beans, but it's also a story.
Sometimes we are the corn. Sometimes we're the strong one, and we have to hold up other people, right? Sometimes we're the beans, and we need to be held up by others, and that's okay. There's space in that for both, right? Sometimes we're the squash, and we get to protect other people. And sometimes we're the corn and the beans and need to be protected. And that's okay because there's space for that. I'm involved in a project in Peterborough called the Flint Corn Project, and I understand you guys got to see some Flint corn earlier this year. People who pick this corn are Seneca people from Buffalo, New York area. This corn was burned on a fire intentionally. Some number of decades ago, there was a campaign in the United States called the Sullivan-Clinton campaign, where the government came in and burned all of the corn fields all the way through the whole territories. And so what happened was that when the Seneca people came back and saw that the corn was burned, they just made the corn anyway. So they burned that corn still to remember that story. Has anybody had corned beans and squash soup before? So this one's gonna have a smoky flavor because that corn has been burned, right? So it's gonna taste a little different than most other corned beans and squash soup. So they work really well together, which is an important teaching that we have, right? Of this working together. But they also provide a complete protein when you eat them together. One of our teachings is that we plant enough food for the people, for the animals, and to seed again next year. We depend on things like the grocery store, but we don't know what's on that, what's in that, where they're coming from. When we grow our own food, we know exactly what we're getting, right? We know exactly what we're putting in our bodies. When you're out on the land, open yourself up to what the land is telling you, because the land has knowledge. And the water has knowledge, and the trees and the corn all has their own knowledge. You know, we as human beings are not the only thing that holds knowledge. And so listen to what it tells you.
Mi wetri gom zaki eg, notamayang gay shamyang.